So you want to buy real estate in Dubai and you're not sure how. So in this video, I'll be going over exactly what you need to know, a general overview. I'm not going to go over the exact details, but a general overview of what it's like to buy a property in Dubai, whether it's off plan or ready. I'm going to go over how to do this. If you don't know me already, my name is Kevin McKenzie and I am the co-founder of GenZone, where we help people relocate to Dubai, and in this video, of course, help people invest in Dubai. So if you need this as a service and want our assistance to help you find your next investment, book a call using the link down below. We would be more than happy to assist you make your next purchase. So starting off with ready properties, the most popular, right? There's nothing more sexy than buying a property that's ready and putting it on Airbnb or renting it out long term. It's ready, you can see it, you can feel it, you can go inside of it, you can live in it. It's a good investment, of course. But how do you actually buy something ready? If you live in Dubai, you can potentially actually get a mortgage, but it is very difficult to get a mortgage when you aren't new in Dubai. Unless you actually work for a company here, a major company, not just a small company, but a major company, it's going to be difficult to get a mortgage. So if you work for a company that has like 10 plus employees, has millions of dirhams in revenue, and has a long track record with a local bank here in the UAE, then it might be very simple. But if you work for a new company or it's your own company and you're self-employed, then good luck. I can tell you from experience, me personally, I've finally gotten a mortgage for myself after 3 years in Dubai. We have finally qualified, I finally qualified for a mortgage in the UAE. And it wasn't even that big, to be honest with you. Compared to my salary, the mortgage amount wasn't that big. So what am I trying to say? If you live here in Dubai, getting a mortgage might be complicated if you work for a small company, but regardless, book a call using the link down below. We'd be more than happy to consult with you. If you work for a company that's big, you can get your own mortgage easily. And if you work for your own company, then it might be difficult, but it is possible. So what are the criteria that you have to meet in order to get a mortgage? Normally, if you work for a big company, 6-month statements is ideal. You can get it with 3-month statements. You'll end up having a worse interest rate. Why? Because it's more of a risk for the bank. You've only been there for 3 months or can only show 3-month statements. What if they fire you after 4 months, right? So 6 months is preferred. You can get qualified quicker and you get a better interest rate, which saves you money. So I can suggest do that. Get a better interest rate, because you don't want to have a bad interest rate, lock in something expensive, and now you're stuck at that interest rate. Now, if you have your own company or work for a small company, your company should be able to provide at least 2 years of audited financials. You should be able to provide 6 to 12 month personal statements. And of course, when I say company audited financials, that means 24 months of company statements, and the audit should be done by one of the top major audit firms in the UAE. And at that point, then you can potentially qualify for a mortgage. But again, in my own case, it was very difficult. A lot of banks rejected me, or they gave me a really low mortgage amount, which I wasn't too happy about. And even now, finally, with the last option that I got, I was qualified for 1.6 million dirhams. It's not that much. If I really want to buy something, I'm going to have to put up a lot of my own cash, which is not a problem. At least I'm qualifying for something. It's a good starter. Now I can buy this and then buy something else in the future and refinance. Now, if you're not actually in Dubai and you're a non-resident, you can actually qualify for a mortgage a lot easier if you work at a company. So in this case, you just have to provide around 6 to 12 month personal statements, utility bill. You have to provide a little bit more information, which we can go over on a call if you book using the link down below. But in the case where you're a non-resident, you can qualify for around 50% loan. So if the property is worth 2 million, expect a 1 million dirham loan. And if you are a resident here, you can expect up to 80%. So my pre-approval amount was 1.6 million and I was able to qualify for an 80% loan. So I only have to put down 20%. But again, the properties that I want to buy are a little bit more expensive, so I'm going to probably have to put up another 500,000 or 1 million up front to make this happen. And of course, you can always buy property cash here, whether it's with crypto, cash, manager's check. You can make this happen regardless what your situation is. So the steps to buy the property would be, of course, if you're getting a mortgage, get the financing first, get pre-approved, then find a property. Then you have to get this property evaluated to make sure that it complies with what the bank wants to loan you for. And then at that point, you go ahead and you go to the trustee office, transfer it, and now the property is under your name. Now, what about with an off-plan investment? Because there's 2 different types of off-plan investments. You can be the first person to invest in this property, which is the most common thing. You find a good project at a good price per square foot in a good area that's up and coming, that has good comparables or has good, future potential, and you buy it and you make your payments. You should expect to put upfront 25% of the total value. So if the property is 1 million, expect to put down 25%, which is 250,000. Why? Because 20% is roughly for your down payment and 4% would be for your DLD fee, and then another percent-ish for other administrative fees. Now, that's the most popular way to do it, and most of our clients buy like this. Like 99.999% of the clients buy off-plan properties like this. And to put a follow-up point, a lot of people think they're gonna buy a ready property and then realize, maybe I don't wanna put up front all this cash and I'll just buy something off-plan. It makes more sense. And just to give you kind of an idea, normally on average, if you're buying the right off-plan property, the appreciation of that property from the day you buy it to the day it hands over should net you more profits than the amount of money you would cash flow in rent. Of course, you're taking a little bit more risk because the property isn't built, but if you work with the right people, they'll put you into a project that is actually good, that has a lot of liquidity, and that is built by a good developer who will hit those deadlines. Now, I mentioned there was another way to buy an off-plan property, and this is by buying it kind of like on the secondary market. So someone, exactly like I just mentioned, buys a property. Now, their property goes up in value and they want to sell it. Now, in that case, you can now come and get that property off them, and it's still technically off plan. So what would need to be done first is all the payments would have to be made in full. So whoever owns this property, if they have any outstanding payments, they would need to pay this off. And if they don't want to pay it off, then you have to pay it off for them. But please keep this in mind. It's very, very important. Do not pay off this amount for this person if you don't really trust them, and if whoever is signing off these documents isn't someone trusted to you. So let's just go over the first example first, right? Let's say everything is paid off in full. Then in that case, you just simply get an NOC from the developer. You pay around 4,000 dirhams. They give you an NOC. They say, this account is up to date with their payments, and we authorize the sale from X person to Y person. And then you simply go to the trustee office, make the transfer, and pay the DLD fees. Yes, you have to pay the DLD fees again. Just because they bought it and they already paid it doesn't mean you don't have to pay it. You do. Every property purchased in Dubai has to pay DLD fees again every time it's transferred from one person to another. Now, in that case, everything would be done pretty much on the spot between Monday to Friday. All business days, they are fully operational. And I say they, I'm talking about the DLD. So they'll make sure that the property is transferred, and then after that, you will get confirmation by email that says that you are now the owner of the property and this was the previous owner. Now, going back to the other situation, let's say this person has their off-plan property, they owe 100,000 dirhams, so maybe the property appreciated, but they don't want to make these payments, they want you to just take it over, right? This is a big risk for you, and let me tell you why. Because if you pay their outstanding balance to get the NOC, to get the document that says, yes, we can transfer it from this person to this person, and they change their mind and say, oh, I don't want to transfer it anymore, well, too bad. You just made a payment in the name of that person and it's under them. It has nothing to do with you. The property hasn't been transferred. If they wanted, they could just keep your payment and call it a day. That's why it's super important to be super careful. If someone doesn't want to make their last payments before transferring it, it is very dangerous. You should expect to lose that full money if you don't do this properly. A common scam is that people will simply do that. And another common scam is that people will hire a POA that should have the authority to transfer it to you, but that POA is actually their friend. That POA is actually working in on that scam so that you don't get that property. What would happen? You would say, okay, Mr. Y, I'll pay for this property as outstanding balance, and then we can get the NOC and transfer it to me. So you'll pay the amount of money. They'll say, great, we received it. For example, they'll say in one situation, no, I don't want to give it to you anymore. The money is mine. And you actually can't do anything about it. And in the other situation where there's a POA involved, let's say you told them, okay, I don't really trust you fully. Let's get a POA. They say, okay, sure, I know a POA. Be careful, because who is that POA? Do you even know who that POA is? And of course, when I'm saying POA, I'm talking about a power of attorney. Someone who can make decisions for that person. So you would get this issued by Dubai courts. I did this myself for a recent purchase. And at that point, that person who gets the POA can authorize these transfers. But again, let's say that POA is their friend, and now that friend says the same thing. Oh, we don't want to do this deal anymore. Then now the money that you put into this property is gone. So it's really important to do it properly. Have the right POAs, work with the right people, have the right contracts in place, because if something does go wrong and you don't have a backup plan, you are going to be in deep, deep water, because sometimes payments can be in arrears for 100, 150, 200, 300, 400,000 dirhams, more in some cases, millions in some cases, right? Depending on the size of the off-plan investment. And if you pay all that in advance, you should have some guarantee that it will actually be transferred to you. So that's all the ways to purchase a property in Dubai, off-plan and ready, of course. And if you're looking for assistance to buy property in the UAE, book a call with us. We have a team of experts. We literally know all the best projects on the market, and we can help you find the correct investment for you so that you can be happy and know that you're buying into something that should give you great appreciation in the future. So if that sounds interesting to you, book a free consultation call using the link down below.